Chapter 3506. All the city lords present understood what the 100 Cities Alliance meant. This meant that they would go from a loose alliance to a unified force. This meant that there would be a hierarchy and a division of power. In the past, the 100 Cities Alliance only needed to obey some orders from the alliance leader. Now that they were united, they would become a force with discipline and rules. Some city lords would have to listen to the orders of the other city lords. The benefits were obvious. When their powers were united, they would reach a terrifying level. The downside was that they would have to submit to others. The expressions of the city lords changed. Don't be anxious. I know you don't want to submit to others and not want to be restricted. But now that the 100 Cities Alliance has reached such a stage, we have no other choice. This unity can be temporary. After we destroy the Dragon Palace, the 100 Cities Alliance will be the same as before. The leader of the 100 City Alliance said calmly. When the city lords heard this, their expressions softened, and they fell into deep thought. Now the 100 Cities Alliance had no way out. To them, there were two choices. One was to give up their cities and leave with their trusted aides, hiding for a period of time before coming out again. Two was to do as the alliance leader said, unite and destroy the Dragon Palace. Alliance leader, can we destroy the Dragon Palace if we unite? The Dragon Palace has Third Order Universe sovereigns and close to 32nd Order Universe sovereigns. Can we destroy them with our strength? A city lord asked the most crucial question. They didn't want to lose their positions as city lords and the authority they had today. But after the 100 Cities Alliance united, could they destroy the Dragon Palace? If they couldn't, they might as well not be city lords and lead their trusted aides to rebuild the Dragon Palace. The sacred dragon bloodline has agreed to give us all the rewards. This is a considerable amount of resources. When the time comes, I will raise my strength and become invincible among those below the Universe Lord realm. The leader of the 100 City Alliance said calmly, invincible among those below the Universe Lord realm? When the city lords heard this, they were slightly moved. Also, they will lend us a Xiantian treasure. The alliance leader of the 100 Cities Alliance added as his gaze swept across all the city lords in front of him. He didn't force them. If he did, it would be easier for them to have second thoughts. He said these words, knowing what they would choose. Alliance Master, we believe in you. However, once the Dragon Palace is destroyed, we hope to restore the 100 Cities Alliance and restore the previous rules. A city lord's eyes lit up, and he immediately responded. As long as the Alliance Master had a Khanate Cardinal treasure, he could easily kill an expert of the same level. Not to mention, the Alliance Master could be promoted even further this time. Sure, my goal is the Ancestral Wizard realm. The leader of the 100 City Alliance said indifferently, if the Alliance Master can become the Grand Wizard, we are willing to serve you. The city lords immediately bowed respectfully, their eyes shining. Perhaps this day won't be long. The leader of the 100 City Alliance revealed a faint smile. Although 15 cities had been destroyed this time, it wasn't a bad thing for him. Seeing that the Dragon Palace was so powerful, the sacred dragon bloodline was afraid that the 100 Cities Alliance would retreat. Hence, they offered up all the treasures and resources that they had promised. One of the things that was very important to him had also been delivered to him. That thing could possibly be the key to opening the Universe Lord realm. That thing, coupled with the Khanate Cardinal treasure that the sacred dragon bloodline had lent him, he was confident that he could easily kill an expert of the same level. Even a divine dragon wouldn't be able to escape from his grasp. We agree with your plan, Alliance Master. 100 cities unite. The city lords' eyes lit up when they heard this. If the leader of the 100 City Alliance could become the Grand Wizard, it would be a huge benefit to them. The Grand Wizard was the true pinnacle expert of this universe. Gather all our forces here. The Dragon Palace will be destroyed very soon. The leader of the 100 City Alliance ordered. Yes, Alliance Master. The city lords immediately responded. Very soon, something that shocked all the forces in the great desolate continent happened. 100 cities unite. The 100 cities unite to become a truly powerful force. It wasn't as loose as before. Damn, 100 cities unite? They were forced to such a state by the Dragon Palace. The 100 cities unite means that they are no longer a neutral city. The 100-City Alliance has been forced to such a state. However, once the 100 cities unite, their power will be terrifying. That's for sure. The 100 cities unite will have 200 to 300 universe lords, right? There will be quite a number of second-order universe lords too. The 100-City Alliance used to be loose. Once they unite, they will be terrifying. This is to prevent them from being taken down one by one. Once the 100-City Alliance unites, the Dragon Palace will be in trouble. Every city in the 100-City Alliance has a deep foundation, comparable to a high-level race. Now that they unite, they will probably be forced into a corner by the Dragon Palace. I think they will destroy the Dragon Palace. The 100 cities unite caused quite a commotion. Many experts even believed that once the 100-City Alliance united, their terrifying power wouldn't be something that the Dragon Palace could resist. This point was acknowledged by many experts. Since the 100-City Alliance united, they could also imagine that the first thing they would do would be to destroy the Dragon Palace. The hatred between the two sides was irreconcilable. The 100-City Alliance had been forced to unite. Next, it would be a fight to the death. The 100-City Alliance would be completely united against the Dragon Palace. The following war would be even more intense. If they thought the 100-City Alliance would be defeated a few days ago, now they thought the tables would turn. The 100-City Alliance united? Within the Dragon Palace, Wuxia received the news of the 100-City Alliance united immediately. His eyes flickered when he saw the news. Currently, the city lords of the various cities had led their subordinates to relocate. Those cities had become completely empty. All the forces were united and located at the old lair of the 100-City Alliance. As for the location of the old lair, Wuxia also knew. Once they unite, it will be troublesome. However, it's just as well. I can compete with my true strength. Wuxia's eyes flickered. He pondered for a moment before he headed out. He wanted to go to the old lair of the 100-City Alliance. He wanted to meet the Alliance Chief of the 100-City Alliance. He wanted to thoroughly understand the other party's background before carrying out his next plan. Chapter 3507. The old lair of the 100 Cities Alliance was also known as the 100 Cities Peak. The 108 mountain peaks had stood on the inner continent of the untainted land for a very long time. Similarly, the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance had been here for a long time too. In the past, this was a city. After the city was disbanded, it became the old lair of the 100 Cities Alliance. The current leader of the 100 Cities Alliance was the son of the city lord of this city. No one knew the name of the city lord of the 100 Cities Alliance. All they knew was that he had the head of the demonic dragon, and was a terrifying sorcerer. The head of the demonic dragon? TSK, I wonder how strong the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance is. If he's weak, I'll kill him. Wuxia was flying at a terrifying speed in the sky above the continent. He was filled with murderous intent towards the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance. All the decisions and orders of the 100 Cities Alliance were issued by the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance. Moreover, Wuxia had decided that if the divine dragon lineage returned to its peak one day, the Dragon Palace would annihilate any sorcerer who dared to transfer the body of a divine dragon to himself. This was the dignity and authority of the divine dragon lineage. At their peak, even the ancestor sorcerer wouldn't dare to do such a thing, let alone a third-order universe lord. Swish, swish, swish. The unbeginning saint wings flapped, and Wuxia sped towards the 100 Cities Peak. The 100 Cities Peak was still very far from the water of the heavens. Even if he were to fly there, it would take him about a year. Along the way, he used the teleportation formation several times to shorten the distance by half. Time passed day by day. After the 100 Cities Alliance united, and was named the 100 Cities Alliance, the remaining disciples and experts of the 80 cities were all moved to the 100 Cities Peak. At this time, the 100 Cities Peak was densely packed with people. The city guards and the legions of the various cities were reorganized, forming incomparably powerful legions. Over 80 cities, each of which belonged to an advanced race. When the elite disciples of their armies were united, it was exceptionally terrifying. When it came to elite disciples, not even the spirit demons were a match for this united force. After the 100 Cities Alliance united, Everyone was clear that their target was the Dragon Palace. Even the disciples of the 100 Cities Alliance had said on the Universe AI that they wouldn't disperse their forces as long as the Dragon Palace was not destroyed. Only by destroying the Dragon Palace would they be able to restore the 100 Cities Alliance. The 100 Cities Alliance now had close to 80 cities. It would not be easy to gather all the disciples and experts and select an army commander. It would take at least a year or two, or even longer, to gather such a huge amount. Half a year later, in front of the 100 City Peak, a terrifying figure approached at a terrifying speed. The 100 City Peak is in front of us. All the forces of the remaining cities of the 100 City Alliance. Wang Xian, who had been flying for half a year, stared ahead with glistening eyes. The illusory figures of numerous mountains appeared in front of him. What was that? Every city has a powerful treasure, a connate spiritual treasure. As Xiaochen approached, he quickly sensed the situation of the 100 City Peak. His eyes flashed. The alliance leader of the 100 Cities Alliance knew array formations. Thus, this battle could not be carried out in the 100 City Peak. It would be best if it was carried out here. Since that's the case, let's lure him over. Wang Xian mumbled to himself and immediately stopped moving. This place was still extremely far away from the 100 City Peak. Wang Xian moved his palm, and the 5 elements grindstone appeared in his hand. The energy of the 5 elements began to condense on it, forming a sharp arrow. The sharp arrow emitted a grayish color. With a wave of his arm, the illusory figure of a bow and arrow condensed in front of him. He drew the bow and released the arrow. Swish! The arrow formed by the horrifying energy of the 5 elements shot towards the mountains in front of him instantly. The grayish energy of the bow and arrow was extremely condensed and carried a terrifying force. However, when the bow and arrow arrived in front of the 100 City Peak, the connate spiritual treasures on the top of the 108 mountains suddenly released a wave of power. A wave of energy formed and attacked the bow and arrow that Wang Xian had shot out. Boom! As the energy collided, the bow and arrow gradually dissipated. Similarly, the attack from the array formation also disappeared instantly. The horrifying collision seemed to have caused the entire heaven and earth to tremble. However, the 108 mountains did not have the slightest fluctuation. What's that sound? The sudden horrifying collision caught the attention of countless people on the 100 City Peak. Their faces were filled with shock. Currently, a large number of people had gathered on the 108 mountains. In fact, the entire 100 City Peak seemed a little crowded. This collision naturally attracted the attention of countless people. Swish! On the tallest mountain of the 100 City Peak, the 100 City Alliance leader flew into the sky and stared in the direction of Wang Xian. Alliance leader of the 100 City Alliance, get out here. At this moment, a cold voice was heard. Ha! The voice traveled to the sky above the 100 City Peak and shocked all the experts and disciples. A group of Universe Lord-level experts flew into the sky immediately and looked towards the source of the voice. Dragon Palace. The 100 City Alliance leader stared at the blurry figure in front of him with cold and murderous intent in his eyes. Hee 100 City Alliance, haven't you guys been arrogant and wanted to annihilate my Dragon Palace? 10 years have almost passed, but you guys are holed up here. How ironic. Wang Xian stared at the figure of the 100 City Alliance leader with disdain. Similarly, his eyes were filled with murderous intent. It won't be long before the doomsday of your Dragon Palace. The 100 City Alliance leader said coldly. You guys have been saying the same thing for 10 years. In the end, you guys have abandoned your cities and fled here. Today, let me see the strength of your King Quan. I'd like to see who gave you the courage to say that you want to annihilate the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian said coldly as he stared at the 100 City Alliance leader. Tisk, courting death. The 100 City Alliance leader's face darkened gradually. Brat from Dragon Palace, get over here if you have the guts. An expert from the 100 City Alliance bellowed furiously. Wang Xian stood there quietly and wasn't moved. The other party was a sorcerer, and there were traces of an array. How could he go over? If the 100 City Alliance leader didn't dare to come out, Wang Xian would be able to roughly assess his strength. If he didn't dare to come out in a one-on-one fight, he would be a piece of trash. Moreover, This would tarnish the reputation of the 100-City Alliance. You still want others to rush to your base? Why don't you think of others rushing to your grotto heaven? No one was that stupid. Today I'll kill you. The 100-City Alliance leader also understood that Wang Xian wouldn't come over. He moved and flew towards Wang Xian instantly. A magic staff appeared in his hand with a blood-red eye embedded on it. Chapter 3508. Thousand Eyes Blood Fiend. The leader of the 100 Cities Alliance flew towards Wang Xian. As he waved the staff in his hand, the blood-red eyes on it glowed brightly. The blood-red eyes on his chest also glowed brightly. The blood-red lights converged and formed a huge blood-red eye in the sky. The blood-red eye stared at Wang Xian and emitted a mysterious energy. Ha! Wang Xian raised his eyebrows when he saw the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance charging over, and sensed the mysterious energy of the blood-red eye in the sky. He felt as if the space around him had been sealed, as if there were countless eyes staring at him. This was a very strange feeling. Roar, roar. At this time, the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance let out a wild roar. His entire body underwent a sudden transformation. His body expanded by tens of thousands of times, and his head was the head of a huge devil dragon. On his chest were blood-red eyes. On his back was a metallic tail that emitted a sinister aura. The leader of the 100 Cities Alliance was just like a devil boss in this world. Tisk. Wang Xian snorted with murderous intent in his eyes. He lifted his head and roared. Roar, roar. With a dragon roar, he transformed into a divine dragon. The divine dragon emitted 9-colored radiance in his eyes. In the eyes of all living beings in the outside world, he belonged to the Azure Dragon. He might be a mutated Azure Dragon. At this moment, Wang Xian still had no idea how powerful a concealment treasure the leaf gifted to him by the fairy race was. He also had no idea that it was a treasure gifted to him by an invincible expert in this universe. Facing the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance, Wang Xian displayed his full strength. The sorcerer lineage was an extremely mysterious and terrifying lineage. The powerful ancestor sorcerer was an existence that any pinnacle race would be wary of. 8 directional dragon pillars. Wang Xian let out a low roar and released the law of Dharma. Shadows of divine dragons blasted towards the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance. In the next instant, the unbeginning sacred wings on his body flapped. Everyone vision. The leader of the 100 Cities Alliance raised the staff in his hand that had also expanded. Huge blood-red eyes faced the 8 divine dragons. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Terrifying collisions reverberated. Our alliance master is fighting with this expert from Dragon Palace. The other party is a purebred divine dragon. He should be a purebred divine dragon. Such a pure dragon power. This must be the expert from Dragon Palace who destroyed Daming City. The other party is very strong. Will our alliance master fight against him? Our alliance leader has already broken through to the Third Order Universe Sovereign Realm for close to 10 billion years. He definitely isn't any weaker than an ordinary Third Order Universe Sovereign Realm expert. Furthermore, our alliance leader is a sorcerer. The battle between Wang Xian and the leader of the 100 City Alliance erupted. Countless experts and disciples of the 100 City Peak immediately flew up to the sky to watch the battle. Their eyes were fixed on him as they discussed among themselves. One was a purebred divine dragon. The other was their alliance leader, a powerful sorcerer. They naturally hoped that their alliance master would win, but the other party was also a divine dragon. They did not dare to jump to a conclusion about who would win or lose. The 8-direction dragon pillars collided with the red eyes, and the energy of both sides began to dissipate. At this moment, Wang Xian pushed his speed to the maximum and came to his right. When Wang Xian made his move, the gigantic blood-red eye in the sky looked in the direction where he was flying. The leader of the 100 City Alliance was shocked, and his golden tail moved immediately. Golden Dragon Leaf. He let out a deep roar and swept towards Wang Xian. Huh. He actually reacted? That's strange. Wang Xian was shocked to see that the other party could keep up with his speed. It couldn't be described as keeping up, but the other party had predicted where he would appear and counterattacked. Divine Tail playing with pearls. However, Wang Xian did not dodge. Instead, he swept his dragon tail towards the leader of the 100 City Alliance. Rumble. The dragon power collided with the golden tail. At the point of collision, pitch-black cracks appeared in the space. The leader of the 100-City Alliance was taken aback, and his body flew backwards uncontrollably. Bei Nanjiao Magu, Shufeng bloodline ashes. He waved the staff in his hand and roared. In the next instant, blood-red lines appeared in front of him and attacked Wang Xian. The blood-red lines were densely packed and covered the entire space. Wang Xian roared as his body was covered in thick mud. At the same time, the Tai Chi dragon plate appeared around him. Streams of light and darkness energy were injected into the dragon plate, forming a formidable defense. The unbeginning sacred wing mountain shook, and he disappeared again. What a fast speed! The leader of the 100-City Alliance was taken aback. The red eye in the sky looked in one direction, and he reacted immediately. It's the red eye above. It seems to be able to see through my movements. Wang Xian saw the thin lines converging towards him. He focused his attention and sensed the changes in the red eye above him. His eyes flickered. Almighty Heavenly Dragon! He waved his dragon claws, and a divine dragon attacked the red eye. Wang. In the next instant he moved his palm, and the 5 elements grindstone appeared in his hand. He smashed it towards the leader of the 100-City Alliance. Horn Mansion, Kong Mansion, D Mansion, Fong Mansion, Xian Mansion, Wei Mansion, Winnowing Mansion, Demonic Dragon Formation. The leader of the 100-City Alliance looked over, and his face hardened. He opened his dragon mouth and spat out waves of energy. The power of darkness quickly formed an array, and a demonic dragon charged towards Wang Xian. Teethe. Wang Xian saw the unbeginning sacred wing flapping, and instantly attacked the red eye in the sky. The devil dragon array covered the almighty heavenly dragon and the 5 elements grindstone, but it couldn't stop Wang Xian. Boom! The dragon claws swept across, and Wang Xian broke the red eye in the sky. Swoosh! In the next instant, the unbeginning sacred wing flapped, and Wang Xian disappeared as he attacked the leader of the 100-City Alliance. On the chest of the leader of the 100-City Alliance, the red eye scanned the surroundings uneasily, trying to capture Wang Xian's figure. He's too fast. How can he be so fast? This is a great counter to sorcerers. When the eyes on his body caught sight of Wang Xian, the leader of the 100-City Alliance was shocked, and he quickly dodged to the side. Towering Dragon Horn. On Wang Xian's dragon horn, a terrifying energy penetrated the leader of the 100-City Alliance. Red Eye World Separation. The leader of the 100-City Alliance roared, and his eyes shone with blood-red light. The light enveloped him, and the next instant, he felt as though he was transported to another world. The energy from the towering dragon horn penetrated him, but it didn't penetrate his body. It only penetrated a red mist. In the next instant, the body of the leader of the 100-City Alliance appeared in this universe once again. However, the red eye on his chest was dripping with drops of blood. Clearly, he had paid a price. Chapter 3509. Just SSO. Roar roar. Wang Xian stared at the 100-Cities Alliance leader with a sinister look in his eyes. He flapped his huge wings. Soaring cloud mist. He let out a low roar. In the 100-City Alliance master's vision, leaves suddenly appeared all around him, greatly obstructing his vision. On his body, red eyes scanned the surroundings constantly, filled with unease. Red eyes would only appear in such a state when they were in danger and unease. His speed is too fast, simply too fast. The 100-Cities Alliance leader's expression was ugly. Without any hesitation, he retreated continuously. At the same time, he waved his arm and formed a demonic dragon around him. The shadow of the demonic dragon circled around him, protecting him. Boom! At this moment, Wang Xian's figure appeared on his right, his dragon claws striking towards the 100-Cities Alliance leader. Roar roar! The demonic dragon around him roared and defended against Wang Xian's attack. Peak spirit. The surrounding demonic dragon started to crumble. The 100-Cities Alliance leader's expression changed as he reached behind him with his left hand. Wang wang wang. At this moment, everyone on the 100-Cities peak felt the entire peak shake. What's going on? The expert from Dragon Palace seems really strong. Our 100-Cities Alliance leader is temporarily suppressed. Is our alliance leader going to use his trump card? The eyes of the experts and disciples of the 100 Cities Alliance shone brightly. Do it. In the sky, in the middle of the group of universe rulers, an old man swept his gaze across the surroundings and roared. 100 Cities Alliance leader, we are here to help you. With a low roar, over 30 Second Order sovereigns flew towards Huang Xiaolong. No need. At this moment, the 100 Cities Alliance leader roared. His dark demonic dragon eyes stared ahead, his face cold and sinister. Wang wang wang. At this moment, the 100 Cities peak was still shaking. On the peak of the 108 peaks, the Xiantian spiritual treasures flew towards the staff in the 100 Cities Alliance leader's hand. On his staff, the blood-red eye widened. Wang wang wang. One by one, the Xiantian spiritual treasures entered the blood-red eye. Ha! Seeing this, Wang Xian's eyes narrowed. Roar. Skull-cross spike. With a low growl, a mask appeared and he attacked the alliance leader of the 100 City Alliance. Khanate formation, defend. The 100 Cities Alliance leader roared, and the 108 Khanate spiritual treasures entered the blood eye on his magic staff. He raised his magic staff and a defensive array formation instantly formed around him. All kinds of energy revolved, forming a defensive barrier. Boom. Ka ka ka. As the skull-cross spikes landed on it, the defense began to crumble bit by bit. The 100 Cities Alliance leader exclaimed in shock when he saw his defensive formation crumbling. His expression instantly turned ugly. The other party also had powerful treasures. Khanate Grand Formation Devil Flag. His eyes narrowed, and the staff in his hand condensed a huge demonic flag. He waved the demonic flag, which directly covered the area in front of him. Crash! Wang Xian was shocked to see him setting up array formations one after another. Flapping his unbeginning sacred wings, he quickly dodged to the side. He easily dodged his array attack. Damn it! The 100 Cities Alliance leader's expression turned ugly as he channeled energy into the magic staff in his hand. That Dragon Palace expert is so powerful to be able to force our alliance leader to this extent. After all, they are both Third Order Universe sovereigns. How can there be such a huge difference between them? It will be extremely difficult for him to defeat our alliance leader. After all, our alliance leader didn't even ask for our help. Behind him, the group of Second Order Universe sovereigns watched the battle with flickering eyes. Is this all you've got? It won't be long before I kill you. The 100 Cities Alliance leader swept his gaze around and roared coldly. Hee, with just you? You're the one who's going to die. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with mockery. Flapping his unbeginning sacred wings, he instantly appeared behind the 100 Cities Alliance leader. Sensing the threat behind him, the 100 Cities Alliance leader's expression changed. His golden tail swept out once again. Bam bam bam. Wang Xian extended his dragon claws and clawed at the golden tail. Large amounts of blood flowed from the golden tail. Scram. The 100 Cities Alliance leader roared as he raised the magic staff in his hand. 100 peaks suppress. Wang. From the blood-red eye on his magic staff, mountain peaks flew out one after another. Each of the peaks contained terrifying might. The mountain peaks grew in size and rotated around him. Soon, there were 108 peaks. Too clumsy. Wang Xian swept his gaze across these peaks with a solemn look in his eyes. Flapping his unbeginning sacred wings, he appeared in front of one of the peaks and swept his dragon tail across. Boom! A terrifying collision sound reverberated. That peak trembled slightly and cracks appeared on it. However, it did not collapse immediately. Ha! Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and launched another attack. Wang! However, at this moment, meteorites exploded from the surrounding mountains and rained down on Wang Xian. Wang Xian moved his body and dodged the meteorites. Bam bam bam. Relying on his speed, he arrived in front of a few other peaks and landed a series of attacks on them. Boom. One of the peaks could not withstand the violent energy and collapsed immediately. Next time, I'll definitely kill you. Seeing that he couldn't do anything to Wang Xian, the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance let out a deep roar of indignation and retreated backwards. Under the protection of the mountains, there was nothing Wang Xian could do. The 100 Cities Alliance master is only SOSO. He did not continue his pursuit because Bai Cheng's base was right behind him. If not for this nest, Wang Xian was confident that he could grind it to death. However, there was no need for him to take the risk, not to mention the array formation set up in the nest. Furthermore, there were over 30 second-order sovereigns behind them who had yet to make a move. If they were to strike, they would bring Wang Xian a lot of trouble. Our alliance master. He's actually not his match. Behind them, the experts and disciples of the 100-City Alliance had ugly expressions on their faces when they saw this. The strongest expert of Dragon Palace had suppressed their 100 Cities Alliance master. Next time, I will definitely kill you. He stared at the 100 Cities Alliance master and said the same thing. As long as the 5 Elements Grindstone or the King of Water Tentacles achieved another breakthrough, Wang Xian was confident that he could eliminate them. It won't be long before we find out who will kill who. The 100 Cities Alliance master's face was a little ugly as he roared with bloodshot eyes. Wang Xian chuckled, turned around and flew far away. He had tested the strength of the 100 Cities Alliance master. The next time would be his death. Chapter 35:10. Dragon Palace. It won't be long before I destroy all of you. Completely. The alliance leader of the 100 City Alliance returned to the front of the 100 City Peak. Seeing Wang Xian's disappearing figure, he was a little displeased. This divine dragon expert from the Dragon Palace had completely exceeded his expectations. With his strength and foundation, he believed that it would be difficult to find a match for him in the same level. Even if he encountered a powerhouse of the same level from another peak race in the universe, as long as he didn't have a primordial cardinal treasure, he was confident that he could defeat him. However, the speed of the expert from Dragon Palace was too terrifying. This speed was close to the universe ruler realm. Alliance Master. Alliance Master. At this time, several second-order sovereigns flew over and shouted at him. The divine dragon of the Dragon Palace is very strong. However, we have already figured out its strength. Next time, we can easily kill it. The 100 Cities Alliance leader said confidently. Yes, Alliance Master. As long as the resources and treasures of the sacred dragon bloodline arrive, we will be able to destroy them easily. An old man immediately said with a smile. Continue to gather all the elites and disciples of the 100 cities. It won't be long before we destroy the Dragon Palace. The 100 City Alliance leader said faintly as he flew towards the tallest peak in the center. As he landed on the peak of the mountain, a confident smile appeared on his face. Although it was suppressed this time, the next time would be the death of that divine dragon. Buzz. He arrived at the location of a teleportation array and disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already at the sacred dragon bloodline. Let's find a place to increase the strength of the 5 Elements Grinder, or the Tai Chi Dragon Coil. Wang Xian left the 100 City Peak and flew aimlessly in the sky above the inner continent. He was deep in thought. Even though the 100 City Alliance leader wasn't as strong as him, he still had some power, especially when he was in his own nest. Right now, he had to think of a way to quickly upgrade the 5 Elements Grindstone, or the Taiji Dragon Board. After upgrading the Tai Chi Dragon Plate, he would be able to kill the 100 Cities Alliance Master. Continue to the land of Devil Bones? Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before flying in that direction. The Tai Chi Dragon Board could absorb the demon skeletons in the land of Demon Bones. Secondly, the blood pool could allow the progenitor tree to bear the blood refinement fruit. Moreover, he was preparing to let the members of the Dragon Palace consume the blood refinement fruit to see how much change it would bring. Wang Xian pondered as he shuttled back and forth rapidly. I heard that the experts of the Dragon Palace went to the 100 City Summit and fought with the 100 City Alliance Master. Both sides were evenly matched. I heard from the disciples of 100 Cities that the expert from Dragon Palace has the upper hand. Dragon Palace is really strong now. They confidently rushed to the 100 Cities Peak and fought with the 100 Cities Alliance leader. At this very moment, as he was flying towards the land of Devil Bones, the news of the battle between Wang Xian and the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance had spread. This caused everyone to be extremely shocked. The Dragon Palace was even more ferocious than they had imagined. They had directly killed their way into the 100-City Alliance's old court. While he was flying on the AI, 2 months later, Wuxia arrived at the land of Devil Bones through the teleportation formation. After which, he continued flying and stepped into the land of Devil Bones. Not long after, he arrived at the blood pool again. This time, he landed in the center of the pool of blood and drilled downwards. Now that Wuxia had achieved a breakthrough in his strength, the blood pool posed no threat to him. There might not be any existence in the entire land of Devil Bones that could pose a threat to him. Of course, there were rumors that there were Universe Lord Realm Devil skeletons here. However, no one knew if it was true or not as no one had verified it. After landing in the center of the blood pool, Wuxia arrived at the deepest spot. This spot was in the information center of the spirit demon race, and was considered a more dangerous area. Wuxia had not allowed the progenitor tree to take root here in the past. This was because back then, he was not a match for a third-order universe lord. This time, he had purposely chosen this spot. If a third-order universe lord realm devil skeleton were to ambush him, he would be able to kill it. Now that he was facing a devil skeleton of the same level, Wuxia was still very confident. He sat cross-legged underground with ease, and the progenitor tree took root in the ground. At this time, Wuxia realized that the speed at which the progenitor tree absorbed the energy underground was much faster. It was 5 to 6 times faster than before. My improvement has also increased the speed of the blood refinement fruit by 5 to 6 times? Doesn't that mean that I can produce a blood refinement fruit in 3 to 4 months? Wuxia was pleasantly surprised. Sitting there quietly, Wuxia concealed his aura and remained motionless. A blood refinement fruit formed rapidly. The blood refinement fruit exuded an alluring aura. In the center of the blood pool, it was undoubtedly a bright light. In the eyes of ordinary experts, Wuxia was simply courting death. Rustle, rustle, rustle. After an unknown period of time, a soft sound was heard. When Wuxia heard this sound, his heart skipped a beat. SSSSSS. At this time, a blood-red, incomparably pure blood snake suddenly flew towards the blood refinement fruit. It stuck out its tongue. The tongue grew longer and longer as it attacked Wuxia. The blood refinement fruit had not ripened yet. It wanted to kill Wuxia and occupy this place. Hehe, a first-order universe lord realm wild beast. Wuxia opened his eyes and revealed a cold gaze. Leave it to me, Dragon King. On his shoulder, the Water Tentacle King exclaimed excitedly before disappearing instantly. Soon, she flew back with satisfaction and a smile in her eyes. This should be a wild beast formed from the blood essence of the blood pool, right? Wuxia asked the Water Tentacle King. Hehe, yes, Dragon King. My level is too low and useless to you. It can help me recover a little. The Water Tentacle King chuckled. A wild beast formed from the blood essence was undoubtedly a great tonic. It could devour and convert it into pure energy. Wuxia did not say anything and continued to close his eyes. The recovery of the Water Tentacle King would undoubtedly be of great help to him. Over here, there's a powerful special energy coming from this direction. As the blood refinement fruit grew, Wuxia's presence in this place attracted some living beings once again. This time, it was clearly an expert from the intelligent living beings. A voice was heard. Wuxia opened his eyes and scanned the surroundings. Waves of energy came over. Wuxia scanned the area with his consciousness and sensed the aura of a second-order universe lord. Wang. At this time, 5 figures appeared in Wuxia's sight. Wuxia looked over. 3 skeletons and 2 dark attribute experts. This fruit has been claimed by me. Leave immediately. Wuxia warned them plainly. At this time, the 5 figures also saw Wuxia. They scanned the area and fixed their eyes on the blood refinement fruit beside Wuxia. Chapter 35:11. The arrival of the 5 experts was Wuxia's warning. The main reason why he chose to nurture the blood refinement fruit here was to attract the wild beasts and skeletons in the blood pool. Wuxia did not launch an attack against these experts immediately. Of course, this was also the reason why they did not attack Wuxia immediately. The warning voice rang out in their ears. The The 5 of them exchanged glances and stared at the blood refinement fruit with a fiery look in their eyes. Although they did not know the specific effects of this blood refinement fruit, the energy coming from it made their blood restless, and they wanted to devour it into their bodies. They did not leave. A wave of energy shrouded towards Wuxia. They did not attack but were sensing. Leave in 3 seconds. Otherwise I'll treat you as my enemy. Wuxia sensed a wave of energy sweeping across his body, and issued a second warning. The 5 of them sensed Wuxia but could not detect his specific strength. Pretentious. We're taking this treasure. The 5 experts' eyes flickered as they snorted and attacked Wuxia. To them, Wuxia was using his aura to suppress them. Was he trying to make them retreat? Was that possible? If the other party was an expert, he would have attacked them and asked them to scram. This made them conclude that the guy beside the blood refinement fruit was definitely not that strong. As for why they could sense his specific strength, it was because there were many treasures that could hide one's strength. Courting death. Wuxia revealed a smile when he saw their attacks. He gave them a chance but they did not cherish it. Did they think he was a pushover? Swish. In the next moment, Wuxia's figure disappeared and appeared in front of the second-order universe sovereign skeleton. He grabbed it and a wave of energy locked it down. You're courting death, he said emotionlessly. No sir, don't kill me. Give me a chance. At this moment, the second-order universe sovereign skeleton was completely dumbfounded. Such terrifying speed, such terrifying strength. Was this a lord at the universe ruler realm? How could he be so terrifying? How did they offend such an existence? What? The other 4 experts were completely dumbfounded. They looked at this scene in horror, and their hearts pounded violently. Run! Without any hesitation, they fled into the distance. Boom! But at this moment, a terrifying aura filled the surroundings. Space seemed to have frozen. Their bodies were completely frozen, and their faces were covered in cold sweat. I've given you a chance, Wuxia said faintly as he stared at the second-order universe sovereign skeleton in front of him. Soul assimilation. The nether flames in his eyes grew dimmer and dimmer. Summon the divine kingdom. Wuxia ordered plainly. Buzz. Slowly, an incomparably huge darkness divine kingdom slowly appeared at the side. Whoosh. Before it appeared completely, Wuxia pulled it into the dragon palace. With a wave of his arm, he killed him. No, don't kill us. At the side, the other 4 experts were completely restrained. Their faces were filled with fear as they looked at this scene and roared in despair. Soul assimilation. Summon my own divine kingdom, Wuxia shouted. The other 4 experts immediately fell silent. Before their god nations could appear, they were pulled into the dragon palace. This method is pretty good. Wuxia smiled. In such a short period of time he had gained so much. It was even faster than searching for treasures. Continue. Wuxia continued to sit there cross-legged as days passed. The following month was peaceful and no living creatures came. Another month passed, and the blood refinement fruit was completely ripe. Wuxia looked at the ripe blood refinement fruit, but did not pluck it immediately. Instead, he continued to sit there with his legs crossed. The second blood refinement fruit began to grow. As time passed, waves of mysterious and alluring energy spread to the surroundings. Another 3 months passed. Suddenly, Wuxia felt a surge of energy attacking him. He immediately opened his eyes and attacked in a direction. It was a blood-red worm, and it had completely blended in with the surrounding blood-red blood. Only when it was in front of Wuxia did he sense it. Wuxia waved his arm and caught it with his dragon claws. Great Dragon King. The Water Tentacle King's voice was heard as she looked at the second-order universe sovereign worm eagerly. Wuxia waved his arm and threw it in front of her. Thank you, Dragon King. Thank you, Dragon King. She quickly sensed it and swallowed it into her stomach. This worm was condensed from blood essence and was very useful for her recovery. As the days passed, the second blood refinement fruit finally matured. The third blood refinement fruit was formed again. The energy emitted by the 2 blood refinement fruits grew stronger. Even from afar, one could feel the alluring aura. Swish, swish, swish. Half a month later, figures appeared in Wuxia's sight. There were more than a dozen figures and all of them were First-Order Universe sovereigns. Leave immediately. I've already claimed this fruit, Wang Xian said plainly. This fruit? The dozen figures who flew over saw Wang Xian. Their eyes fell on the fruit and their breathing quickened. They could feel the restlessness coming from within their bodies. The dozen of them exchanged glances before turning their attention to Wang Xian. Disappear from my sight in 3 seconds. Wang Xian issued a second warning. That fruit should be ripe. The other party did not pluck the 2 ripe fruits. He must be trying to attract the devil skeleton and wild beasts. Let's go. The dozen of them didn't dare to linger and left immediately. They weren't stupid. This was a dangerous place in the land of blood. The other party dared to sit here and not pluck the 2 ripe fruits. He must be trying to attract the wild beasts and devil skeleton. The dozen of them left and Wang Xian closed his eyes. What fruit is that? It can make my bloodline throb intensely. The dozen of them retreated from Wang Xian's range and stopped immediately. They exclaimed in shock. I have the same feeling. That fruit is definitely a powerful treasure. Their eyes were burning with greed. However, that fellow's strength is definitely not weak. It's very likely that he has the combat strength of a second-order universe sovereign. We should report this matter to the elders and let them make a decision. The dozen of them hesitated for a moment before speaking. Soon their figures turned illusory and gradually disappeared. They belonged to a very powerful race in the land of Devil Bones. Diablo race. Chapter 35:12. The group of experts left. Wang Xian didn't mind as he continued to sit there and wait quietly. Days passed again. Another 3 reckless devil skeletons came and were easily killed by Wang Xian. However, these devil skeletons were too weak. The gains weren't great. The 3rd blood refinement fruit was growing rapidly. The energy emitted by the 3 fruits filled the surroundings. If not for Wang Xian's confidence, he wouldn't have dared to be so brazen. The temptation of the blood refinement fruit was terrifying. Half a month later, Wang Xian sat there with his legs crossed. Suddenly his expression changed. He quickly opened his eyes and scanned the surroundings. The space around him had changed. He was now in a sea of blood. The blood refinement fruit was still beside him. The sudden change caused a solemn expression to appear on his face. What's going on? His dragon eyes scanned the surroundings and he didn't look good. He didn't notice the situation around him and was suddenly pulled into this space. This strange space was somewhat similar to Shaolan's Kuan domain. Dragon King, be careful. This is a special domain of a wild beast. Those with such a domain are not weak. It should be a 3rd-order universe sovereign. The Water Tentacle King warned as she scanned the surroundings with her 3 bright eyes. Dragon King, kill him. Kill him. At the same time, the Water Tentacle King's eyes were filled with excitement. This wild beast should be condensed from blood essence. Once it was killed and devoured, her strength might recover to the 3rd-order universe sovereign level. Can you improve by devouring him? Wang Xian squinted his eyes and asked. 70% chance. The Water Tentacle King scanned the surroundings and answered. All right. Wang Xian willed, and Lingling's figure gradually appeared on his shoulder. After devouring the life liquid and Wang Xian's breakthrough, Lingling had fallen into a deep slumber. Over the past 2 years she had recovered. After absorbing the life liquid, Lingling was even more powerful in terms of support, especially in terms of healing. At the same time, a shadow moved on Wang Xian's body. It was Dark Ghost. He hadn't even used Dark Ghost in his last battle against the 100 Cities Alliance Lord. At the time, Lingling had yet to awaken, and sending out Dark Ghost was not enough to kill the 100 Cities Alliance Lord. Crash! At this moment, the sea of blood formed into a hideous 2-headed monster in front of him, and attacked Wang Xian. Crash! Wang Xian's figure flickered as his dragon claws struck towards the monster. Bam! The powerful force of the dragon claw bombarded one side, and the monster directly collapsed. A part of the blood disappeared, and a part fell into the sea of blood. Walala! The moment the 2-headed monster disappeared, the sea of blood below instantly condensed into a tornado and swept towards Wang Xian. Dragon King, The entire blood sea is a part of that monster. Attack it directly. The Water Tentacle King saw through it and said, "All right." Wang Xian's figure flickered as he flapped his unbeginning saint wings. The power of light gathered on them as the wings attacked the sea of blood. Boom. Droplets of blood instantly burst out from the blood sea and attacked the radiant wings. Boom boom boom. The sound of collision was heard and Wang Xian's eyes were cold. Courting death. Lingling support. Wang Xian shouted coldly as he waved his dragon claws, condensed a seed, and threw it downwards. At the same time, a gush of energy surged into the seed. The seed instantly turned into a huge water lotus that took root in the sea of blood, and absorbed the energy of the sea of blood crazily. Lingling waved the water lotus staff in her hand, and majestic wood attribute energy surged into the water lotus. The speed of absorption of the water lotus became even more terrifying. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the entire sea of blood roared as huge waves surged towards the water lotus. Bam! A dull, loud sound was heard as an explosion occurred in the middle of the sea of blood. A portion of the blood disappeared. From Wang Xian's body, a shadow dashed towards the sea of blood, and immediately transformed into the body of the devil dragon. The dark ghost doppelganger roared and swept its dragon tail across. Boom! The entire sea of blood surged as Wang Xian extended his dragon claws, which turned into the radiant dragon claws and clawed downwards. Similarly, a huge blood claw emerged from the sea of blood, and met the radiant dragon claws head-on. Bam! After the collision, the blood claw and the radiant dragon claws disappeared. Swoosh! Wang Xian flapped the unbeginning saint wings, and arrived at the other side of the sea of blood in the next instant. Lingling waved the water lotus staff, and sent down bolts of lightning. Roar roar! The entire sea of blood roared. At this moment, Wang Xian felt the surroundings changing. They appeared in the sea of blood again, and nothing had changed. A dazzling drop of blood was pulsating as it escaped into the distance. Dragon King, catch him! Catch him! The Water Tentacle King roared with excitement in its eyes. You can't escape. Wang Xian's eyes lit up. The blood essence of a third-order universe sovereign was definitely a great supplement. Any member of the Dragon Palace would be able to improve immediately if they devoured it. Of course, giving it to the Water Tentacle King was the best choice. Seeking the enemy from the void had already attached itself to the blood essence wild beast. Wang Xian kept the blood refinement fruit and instantly appeared before it, clawing at it with its dragon claws. With Wang Xian's speed, those of the same level could forget about escaping. Roar roar! The blood essence wild beast sensed Wang Xian's speed and let out a furious roar. In the next second, it transformed into Wang Xian's appearance, and its arms turned into dragon claws as it attacked. Courting death. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with disdain as he faced it head-on. Dark Ghost appeared at the other side and attacked as well. 2 against 1. Roar roar! Seeing Dark Ghost's sudden appearance, the blood essence wild beast opened its mouth and roared ferociously. Its entire face started to change. Haha die. Wang Xian laughed heartily. Lingling waved her water lotus magic staff and released branches of trees. Under Wang Xian's attack with all his trump cards, the blood essence wild beast was completely suppressed. Bam! The dragon claws collided with his simulated dragon claws, and Dark Ghost's attack landed on his body. Lingling's branches wrapped around him completely. He transformed into a drop of blood essence once again. Wang Xian reached out with his dragon claws and grabbed it in his hands. Waves of energy obliterated its soul power. Indignant roars resounded continuously, but the sound was getting weaker and weaker. I've hit the jackpot. Wang Xian sensed the life force disappearing completely, and his eyes were filled with excitement. Chapter 35:13. The droplet of blood essence disappeared rapidly. The Water Tentacle King stared excitedly at the droplet of blood essence that exuded boundless energy. The energy contained in the blood essence could help it recover a little. It had already devoured all the water attribute resources in Daming City, and the essence of the blood essence. This third-order universe sovereign realm blood essence desolate beast was more or less enough. Here. Wang Xian placed the blood essence in front of the Water Tentacle King. She opened her mouth and swallowed it immediately. Her eyes were filled with excitement. Dragon King, I'll protect you when I'm fully recovered. When that time comes, we'll kill anything that comes our way. The Water Tentacle King roared excitedly, then its body moved and disappeared in an instant. She wanted to return to the Divine Kingdom and completely digest the blood essence desolate beast's corpse. Wang Xian smiled. This time, he had wanted to upgrade the 5 elements grindstone or the Tai Chi dragon plate. He did not expect to upgrade the Water Tentacle King first. However, upgrading the Water Tentacle King also brought great benefits. In fact, the benefits were even greater than upgrading the 5 elements grindstone. My luck is pretty good this time. Seems like the blood refinement fruit can indeed attract wild beasts and demonic skeletons. Wang Xian murmured. He moved and sat cross-legged on the ground again. 3 blood refinement fruits appeared at the side. The third one was not fully ripe yet. A wave of enticing energy belonging to the blood refinement fruit spread to the surroundings. Just as Wang Xian sat cross-legged and prepared to use the blood refinement fruit to attract the wild beasts and demonic skeletons, a dozen figures flew over from the sky above the blood pool. The one in the middle was completely shrouded in darkness. He wore a bamboo hat on his head and his face could not be seen clearly. The other dozen were of human build, but some of them had changed. 3 of them had the limbs of skeletons, which looked very strange. They were members of the Diablo Precantator clan. The overall strength of the Diablo Precantator clan was definitely not weaker than the Spirit Demon clan. In fact, they were even stronger. The only difference was that the Diablo Precantator clan did not have the background of the Spirit Demon clan. Even so, the Diablo Precantator clan was a huge force here. Their top combat strength was slightly stronger than the 100 Cities Alliance. Is it right under the blood pool? The figure in the bamboo hat asked. Yes, Lord Wu Gui. Just below. A First-Order Sovereign Realm Magus immediately answered. Go down, said Wu Gui indifferently. His figure flashed as he flew downwards. The group of Diablo Precantator clan members followed behind. Of the 13 subordinates, only 3 were First-Order Universe Sovereign Realm Magi. These 3 were the ones who had led the way the last time. The other 10 were all Second-Order Universe Sovereigns. As sorcerers, their combat strength was terrifying and strange. Lord Wu Gui is just ahead. The 3 Diablo Witchcraft Magi pointed in front of them and said, the other party might be a Third-Order Sovereign Realm expert. Be careful. I can already feel a tempting energy fluctuation. This energy is extremely beneficial to my bloodline. Red of flame of blood of God. Dragon blood refinement God Wu. He looked down and clenched his fists. Of king. Of formation of the dragon. King Wu. Wu of blood king. Wu muttered. Wu Gui muttered with a solemn expression on his face. Lord Wu Gui, should we call the Patriarch and the rest over? One of the Diablo Precantator Demon King asked. I'll call Lord Li over. Set up a formation here and completely seal off the other party in this area. Wu Gui nodded. Lord Li, with our strength, we can easily kill a Third-Order Universe Sovereign if we set up the array in advance. The Diablo Precantator clan specialized in arrays, and some specialized in bloodline and physique. Wu Gui belonged to the category of experts. There was a huge advantage of specialized in arrays. Once the array was set up in advance, one could easily deal with 2 or 3 existences of the same level. As for the Li he mentioned, he mainly cultivated his bloodline and physical body. Wu Gui was confident that he could kill Lord Li easily with the help of 10 Second-Order Universe Sovereigns. Yes, Lord. The Diablo Precantator Demon King replied. The 10 Second-Order Universe Sovereigns started to set up the array. At this time, Wu Gui set up a transmission array in front of him and took out the universe artificial intelligence. In less than a few minutes, a figure appeared in the transmission array. It was an expert from the Diablo Precantator clan with a golden skull and 4 blood-red limbs. He was Li of the Diablo Precantator clan. There was only one word Li. Lord Li of the Diablo Precantator clan. Other than the Patriarch, all the peak experts of the Diablo Precantator clan were here. I smell a treasure. A treasure that can help improve one's bloodline. It's definitely a treasure. The moment he appeared, His body started to tremble. His blazing gaze looked down, and his body started to move restlessly, especially his four limbs. It was as though blood was condensing and flowing continuously. Kiki, it's definitely a rare treasure. However, the other party might be a third-order universe sovereign. I need to make some preparations. Wu Gui laughed, his voice somewhat sinister. Sure. Li nodded. Let's check the situation first and prevent him from leaving. Don't alert him. Wu Gui reminded indifferently. Kiki. The ghostly fire in Li's eyes danced, filled with confidence. He moved his palm, and a drop of blood on his palm turned into the shape of a wild beast, diving straight down. Wu Gui swept a glance, and was also very confident about Li's means. He moved and began to set up an array around him. Once the array enveloped the area, he was 100% confident that he could get his hands on the treasures below. As for that expert, if he dared to resist, kill him directly. Wang Xian sat cross-legged below, quietly waiting for the wild beast and devil skeleton to take the bait. He didn't know that there were experts above him who had their eyes on him. He also didn't expect that the dozen figures he let go would attract so many experts. Wang. Daddy, something is coming. It's monitoring us. However, at this time, Lingling's voice suddenly rang in his mind, stunning him. Ha! Lingling, you sensed it? Yes, Daddy. It's a drop of blood. Lingling replied again with confirmation. Ever since Lingling devoured the life liquid, she had gained some auxiliary abilities. In some special senses, she was even stronger than Wang Xian. Chapter 35:14. Lingling was a companion spirit. A companion spirit that was closest to nature. Companion spirits were weak in combat, but their support capabilities were terrifying. Now that they were in the soil, Lingling's senses were stronger than Wang Xian's. Ha! Upon hearing Lingling, Wang Xian sensed the surroundings with all his might. Sure enough, he sensed a drop of blood approaching him. It was emitting a wave of energy. Clearly, it was searching for him. Another blood essence desolate beast? Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he looked at the drop of blood essence. If it was another third-order sovereign realm blood essence desolate beast, the Dragon Palace would have another third-order sovereign realm expert in its ranks. At that time, the Dragon Palace could send an army to attack the 100 Cities Alliance. As for the array formation, Wang Xian was confident that he could break it with his strength. Annihilate the 100 Cities Alliance. Whoosh. With a thought, a bolt of lightning struck towards the drop of blood. The drop of blood did not expect to be discovered by Wang Xian, and retreated in a panic. However, Wang Xian seeking enemies through the void had already landed on the drop of blood. Wang Xian stood up immediately. With a wave of his arm, he kept the blood refinement fruit. With a swift move, he chased after the drop of blood essence. At the same time, the dark ghost doppelganger hid behind him, ready to attack at any time. Oh no, I've been discovered. At the same time, the golden willow. The wisp above Li's head flickered with a furious expression. The blood essence he released to investigate was discovered. He was extremely confident in his own investigation, not to mention the favorable terrain in the land of blood. When he released the blood essence to investigate, he was 100% sure that the other party couldn't discover him. However, this 100% certainty had failed. The other party had discovered him. What? Damn it. Wu Gui frowned and couldn't help but curse. I can no longer sense that tempting energy. It must have been kept. He sensed and his expression changed. The other party is here. It's fine. Kill him and the treasure will still be ours. The willow. The wisp in Li's eyes flickered as he clenched his fist and bellowed. His arm immediately turned into a terrifying demonic claw, and directly attacked the position below. Attack. Wu Gui also sensed the energy coming from below and immediately ordered loudly. The fact that the other party could detect Li's detection meant that the other party's combat power was at the third-order universe sovereign realm. It's not a desolate beast with blood essence, but other experts. There are so many experts. As Wang Xian flew up from below, he sensed the energy and figures above him. When he saw the other party attacking him, his eyes narrowed. With a wave of his arm, A defensive barrier instantly appeared above him. His dragon eyes flickered, and all the experts in front of him appeared in his line of sight. 2 rank 3 universe sovereigns, 10 rank 2 universe sovereigns, and 3 rank 1. The strength of the other party immediately appeared in his mind. Wang Xian was shocked. Those 3 rank 1 experts are 3 of the dozen or so experts who came last time. Who would have thought? A murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He flapped his unbeginning saint wings and flew to the side instantly. Boom. In the next moment, the attack of the sorcerer of the Diablo Precantator tribe landed on Wang Xian's defense and broke through it. Disappeared? Be careful. Seeing that Wang Xian was nowhere to be found after the defense, he quickly raised his voice to warn the others. Swish swish. At this time, Wang Xian had already arrived beside the 2 rank 2 universe sovereigns. His arms turned into dragon claws and pierced through their bodies, killing them instantly. What? Oh no, they are very fast. Be careful. Gather together and guard against ambushes. Wu Gui's expression changed when he saw the 2 elders of his tribe killed in an instant. He immediately raised his voice to warn the others. Swish. Boom. At this time, Wang Xian's body shook, and a terrifying aura shrouded all the experts of the Diablo Precantator tribe. His figure instantly attacked again. Attack. The experts of the Diablo Precantator tribe were shocked and immediately shouted. Streaks of energy shrouded Wang Xian. Kill one first. Lingling, go all out and lock on that rank 3 universe sovereign array sorcerer. Wang Xian's eyes narrowed when he saw this scene. Since they dared to plot against him, he would make them pay a terrible price. Now that Lingling had awakened, he was ready to unleash his strongest attack. Swish. The unbeginning saint wings flapped, and he dodged the attacks of the experts of the Diablo Precantator tribe. Swish. With another wave, Lingling raised the water lotus staff in her hand, and waves of energy surged into Wang Xian's body. Swish. In the next moment, his figure disappeared. Li, stop him. He is very fast. You hold him back, and I will kill him with the array. Wu Gui hastily scanned his surroundings and roared loudly. All right. Roar. Roar. Li let out a wild roar, and his arms and legs transformed. Both his arms and legs transformed into the appearance of a terrifying wild beast. His golden head glowed as he scanned the surroundings. Wu Gui, watch out. At this time he sensed Wang Xian's figure and immediately shouted. Scram. Wu Gui was already prepared. His bamboo hat emitted darkness and formed a defense. Boom. Just then, dark ghosts flew out of Wang Xian's body and headed straight for the defense. The terrifying attack caused the defense to crumble instantly. Wang Xian did not slow down, and his dragon claws clawed at Wu Gui. What? Wu Gui's expression changed slightly. With a wave of his palm, a skeleton appeared beside him. Caca. However, the moment the skeleton appeared, Wang Xian's dragon claws pierced through his body. But a strange scene appeared. A hole appeared on the chest of the skeleton, and the whole skeleton collapsed instantly, disappearing without a trace. Soon after, Wang Xian sensed that the body that his dragon claws pierced through had disappeared, and he appeared at the spot where the skeleton had disappeared. A perfect substitute had avoided a fatal blow. Wu Gui's eyes flickered with bloodlust. Clearly, he felt lucky to have escaped with his life. While Wang Xian had yet to retract his strength, he quickly fled to the side. Bind. However, at this time, a childish voice reached his ears. Thorns appeared around him. The thorns bound him directly. Feeling the binding force, Wu Gui's expression changed drastically, and his eyes were filled with fear. Die. You're courting death. He moved his palm again and pierced through Wu Gui's body. This time he did not use a substitute for the skeleton. Chapter 35:15. Wang Xian's dragon claw pierced through Wu Gui's chest once again. The dark mist on his bamboo hat disappeared, revealing an incomparably pale and old face. At this moment, his eyes were filled with despair. Stop. If you dare to kill Wu Gui, the Diablo Precantator tribe will tear you into pieces and make you unable to reincarnate. Sorcerer Li saw Wang Xian's claw piercing through Wu Gui's body. His expression changed drastically as he roared furiously. He had never expected his opponent to be so terrifying. To be able to defeat Wu Gui so easily. If he had not alerted the enemy, this might not have been the outcome. However, this was not the time for him to regret. He had to save Wu Gui. He was one of the only 3 third-order universe sovereigns in the Diablo Precantator tribe. He was his best friend, a close comrade who had fought alongside him for billions of years. Let him go, and I'll compensate you with treasures. Sorcerer Li bellowed again. Hee, you'd better be prepared to die if you want to kill me. Diablo Precantator tribe, you're courting death. Wang Xian revealed a cold and disdainful expression when he heard him. Begging for mercy after being defeated? Sparing his life? How could there be such a good deal? Wang Xian's dragon claw moved, and the destructive force rushed towards Wu Gui. Sorcerers who were more inclined towards arrays were relatively weaker in terms of physical strength. However, Wu Gui was strong enough, and he even had a skeleton that could die in his place. He also had a lot of trump cards. However, it was a pity that he had met Wang Xian. Wang Xian could take on 3 opponents at the same level. Relying on Dark Ghost Doppelganger and Lingling, he could easily take on 5 opponents at once. Under such circumstances, Wu Gui was easily killed when he got close to him. If it wasn't for Lingling, Wu Gui would have escaped by now. You're courting death. Sorcerer Li sensed Wu Gui's life force disappearing. His eyes turned bloodshot, and 4 horrifying monsters charged towards Wang Xian. Courting death. It was settled. A sorcerer. Wang Xian could now easily suppress this sorcerer. He flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and instantly appeared at Wu Gui's side. His dragon claw clawed towards Wu Gui. Damn it, he's too fast. I'm no match for him. When Sorcerer Li sensed Wang Xian's speed, his pupils constricted. He gritted his teeth and the golden skull glowed. He did not dodge. Instead, he charged towards Wang Xian. Boom. His head collided violently with the dragon claw, and Wang Xian was shocked. His golden skull caused Wang Xian's palm to bleed. This sorcerer from the Diablo Precantator clan isn't simple either, but he's still far from it. Wang Xian's eyes were cold. He flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and launched another attack. Die. At this time, the shaman Li roared and directly threw out a skeleton. This skeleton was stained with blood-red energy, revealing a terrifying aura. When Wang Xian saw this, he quickly dodged to the side. Buzz. However, in the next moment, to his surprise, the figure of the Diablo Precantator clan's rank 3 venerable slowly turned illusory. Wang Xian was speechless as he looked at the disappearing silhouette. He escaped. This guy actually escaped. Wang Xian thought he was going to fight to the death with him. He shook his head and glanced around. The other experts of the Diablo Precantator clan had already fled when they saw them fighting. TSK, another third-order universe sovereign corpse. I can make the sky formation break through. Wang Xian's eyes shone with excitement. After the sky formation broke through, and the Aqua Tentacle King was about to recover to the third-order universe sovereign strength, the Dragon Palace would have 3 third-order universe sovereigns. When the time comes, I can directly kill my way into the 100-city peak. Even if he has set up an array there, I can completely annihilate them. Wang Xian's eyes flickered with killing intent. However, the Diablo Precantator clan, he murmured to himself with a thoughtful look on his face. Wang Xian knew a little about the strength of the Diablo Precantator clan. There were 3 third-order universe sovereigns in the clan, which was more than the Spirit Demon clan. The Spirit Demon clan only had 2. Now that he had killed one of the Diablo Precantator clan, there were still 2 left. Should I attack the Diablo Precantator clan? He pondered and felt that it was worth a try. However, to give it a try, he would have to wait for the Aqua Tentacle King and the Sky Formation to achieve a breakthrough. He would think about it in the future. He moved and once again flew down to where he was. This time, he did not go to the previous location. Instead, he found a secluded place. Now that the Aqua Tentacle King and the Sky Formation had not achieved a complete breakthrough, he had to avoid the Diablo Precantator clan to prevent them from making a comeback. When he came to a relatively secluded location, the progenitor tree plunged into the ground again, and the third blood refinement fruit continued to grow. Just as Wang Xian was waiting for the third fruit to ripen, in the land of Devil Bones, there were many eerie and mysterious territories. The entire domain was enveloped by a black formation. In the sky above, skulls were flying around, their eyes emitting a blood-red glow. The entire area was like hell, eerie and terrifying. Within the array in this area, castles could be vaguely seen. These castles looked ancient, and there were strange symbols drawn on them. Wu Gui has been killed? In the center of the spacious area was a castle. Inside the castle, a skeleton holding a magic staff looked at a spirit tablet in his hand and roared in a low voice. His voice was filled with horrifying anger. Chief, that guy's speed is too terrifying. He even has a strange doppelganger. We are no match for him. Sorcerer Li stood in front of the skeleton with the magic staff, and reported with his head lowered. Damn it, Wu Gui has been fighting alongside us for billions of years. How could he be killed? We must avenge him. The chief of the Diablo Precantator clan roared with a stern face. Chief, we have to be fully prepared if we want to avenge him. He is very strong. Sorcerer Li said in a deep voice. Not only was he strong, but he was also very terrifying. It was not an exaggeration to describe him as terrifying. They could not understand why there was such a terrifying third-order universe sovereign in the land of Devil Bones. Do you have any items on him? The chief of the Diablo Precantator clan stared at him and asked. Items? Sorcerer Li's golden skull shone brightly. He stretched out his arm and said, Chief, I have an energy that he placed on me. Lightning. As he spoke, a bolt of lightning danced on his palm and merged with a drop of his blood. This was the power of searching through the void. He realized that it would take some time to destroy this bolt of lightning. All right, that's enough. Let's kill him with the curse. The chief of the Diablo Precantator clan said coldly. Chapter 35:16. Chief, are you going to use that supreme treasure? In the central castle of the Diablo Precantator clan, Sorcerer Li's eyes flickered when he heard the chief's words. That's right. We must avenge Wu Gui. The chief of the Diablo Precantator clan said coldly. He moved his palm, and the ground below him began to turn into nothingness. Gradually, a great horror seemed to rise. It was a corpse, a human corpse without a face. The corpse was pitch black and exuded an eerie aura. Sorcerer Li stared at the corpse with fear in his eyes. This was a supreme treasure, an innate cardinal treasure. It was also the greatest trump card of the Diablo Precantator clan. The Diablo Precantator clan had a great reputation in the land of Devil Bones. No one dared to provoke them. Even the Spirit Demon clan was wary of the Diablo Precantator clan. Rumor had it that the Diablo Precantator clan possessed terrifying and eerie means. They could even easily kill third-order universe sovereigns. And the greatest trump card of the Diablo Precantator clan was this innate cardinal treasure. An innate cardinal treasure that belonged to the cursed sorcerers. The chief of the Diablo Precantator clan was originally a skeleton that specialized in physical combat. This was because this innate cardinal treasure specialized in curses and arrays. One could imagine how powerful this innate cardinal treasure was to change the direction of his cultivation for the sake of a supreme treasure. The chief of the Diablo Precantator clan moved his palm, and the lightning slowly fell on the dark corpse below him. When the corpses landed on top of the corpses, a strange scene appeared. On the corpse, Wang Xian's face gradually emerged. The corpse turned into Wang Xian's appearance. 10 minutes later, the corpse was exactly the same as Wang Xian. Even the darkness on its body had disappeared completely. It's him, chief. It's him. Sorcerer Li stared at Wang Xian's face and shouted. That's good. Next, we'll kill him. The chief of the Diablo Precantator clan revealed a cold smile. He waved his right hand, and the skeletal staff in his hand gradually turned into a sickle. The Grim Reaper's sickle. The sickle slashed towards Wang Xian's head from the center. Caca. The sickle sank into the head of the corpse and slowly penetrated it. At the same time, Wang Xian, who was sitting cross-legged in the pool of blood, shuddered. An unparalleled terror descended upon his heart. His head slowly split open from the center, and a deathly aura enveloped him. When Wang Xian sensed this, his hair stood on end. What's going on? His expression changed drastically, and a surge of energy surged toward his head, healing the injury that had suddenly appeared. This is a curse. It must be a curse. He growled in a low voice. With a thought, Lingling appeared beside him. Dad, you've been attacked by a strange energy. Lingling appeared and let out a sharp shriek. She waved the water lotus magic staff in her hand, and a wave of wood elemental healing energy surged towards the top of Wang Xian's head, rapidly healing his head injury. Block! Wang Xian's expression changed drastically. The power of light and darkness around him expanded, and covered his head with the Tai Chi dragon coil. Caw. It was obvious that there was an invisible force cutting into his head. However, the Tai Chi dragon plate managed to block it for a moment. Lingling's healing also came into effect, slowly healing his wound. Within the Diablo Sorcerer clan, the leader of the Sorcerer clan was shocked when he saw the scythe suffering from great resistance, and was even slowly being squeezed out. The corpse that looked exactly like Wang Xian was also surging with black energy. Go to hell. The leader of the Diablo Sorcerer clan revealed a stern look. Once the black energy surged, it meant that the cursed person's lightning was being consumed. When the lightning was consumed, the corpse would revert to its original state if the cursed person had not been killed by the cursed person. This also meant that the curse had failed. Surges of energy surged into the scythe, and the scythe was submerged again. Arg! In the pool of blood, Wang Xian couldn't help but let out a blood-curdling scream. Under this horrifying attack, his head gradually split open. This pain was extremely horrifying. Lingling's face was flushed red. Surges of energy surged into Wang Xian's head to stop the wound from spreading. Wang. The dark ghost doppelganger appeared beside him, and surges of energy surged into Wang Xian's body to help him resist the attack. Oh no, the little bit of lightning energy is about to be completely consumed. If I had more of his items, I would be able to kill him. At this time, with Wang Xian's resistance, the corpse in the Diablo Sorcerer clan gradually reverted to its original state. The leader of the Diablo Sorcerer clan was a little embarrassed. There were too few items that had the aura of the other party. If he had his blood, he was confident that he could kill the other party completely. 10 seconds later, the corpse reverted to its original state. Dark, creepy and dead. The leader of the Diablo Sorcerer clan was not looking good. Sorcerer Li, who was standing at the side, was also not looking good. The other party is really strong. He actually withstood your cursed kill. Sorcerer Li said in a deep voice. The other party does have some strength. However, he should be severely injured now. Moreover, he should have used a lot of life-saving treasures. The leader of the Diablo Sorcerer clan said coldly. Under the attack of the scythe, the other party's injuries actually recovered a little. This was definitely a powerful life-saving treasure. A powerful divine herb and elixir pill. Leader, what should we do now? Sorcerer Li asked. Avenge Wu Gui when there's a chance. The leader of the Diablo Sorcerer clan pondered for a moment. He was a cursed sorcerer. The inborn cardinal treasure in his hand was not a treasure that could be used to fight head-on. The other party could fight against two people and even kill Wu Gui. He could not do anything about it now. Unless he could obtain some of the other party's flesh and blood. Then he would be 100% confident that he could destroy the curse. Forget it for now. As for whether there would be a chance in the future, he was not sure. In short, this matter was over for the time being. Sorcerer Li remained silent for a moment before nodding his head. Phew. Underground in the land of blood. Wang Xian felt the horrifying attack disappear, and heaved a heavy sigh of relief. What a creepy and horrifying attack. If it wasn't for Lin Ling, I might have been killed. He murmured as his eyes flickered. Diablo Sorcerer clan. Wang Xian was sure that the one who cursed him was definitely the Diablo Sorcerer clan. He had just killed the pinnacle expert of the Diablo Sorcerer clan, and the curse was already in place. They were definitely the culprits. However, the other party did not succeed this time. Initially, I was still considering whether to attack the Diablo Sorcerer clan. In that case, I'll completely annihilate the Diablo Sorcerer clan before I annihilate the 100 Cities Alliance. Wang Xian bellowed with murderous intent. The attack of such an enemy was too creepy. They must not be allowed to live. Everything would have to wait for the Aqua King and Heavenly Formation to reach the rank 3 universe venerable realm. Chapter 35:17-1. As the days passed, the third blood refinement fruit emitted a mysterious and alluring energy. It's ripe. When the third blood refinement fruit ripened, a terrifying water attribute energy flooded the Dragon Palace. Above the suppressed Dragon Palace, the array was crumbling bit by bit. Well, I can't destroy the array outside the Dragon Palace. Haha, I, the Water Tentacle King, have regained the strength of a third-order universe sovereign. Big Bailey Birdman, just you wait. It won't be long before I pluck all your feathers. The Water Tentacle King roared excitedly. With a slight flicker, she disappeared. In the next moment, she appeared on Wang Xian's shoulder. As the Water Tentacle King had become Wang Xian's war pet, she could appear before Wang Xian directly. You have reached the third-order universe sovereign realm? Wang Xian's eyes lit up when he saw the Orochi and sensed the energy contained within it. Yes, Dragon King. The Water Tentacle King nodded, her eyes beaming with excitement. Great, let's go. Wang Xian revealed a smile as he kept the ripened blood refinement fruit. He took the Tentacle King with him and immediately flew out. Dragon King, where are we going? To the 100 Cities Alliance? I have made a breakthrough and can definitely kill them. The Water Tentacle King said confidently. Now, even if she barged into the 100 Cities Peak, she was confident that she could kill them. Of course, it might be a little difficult to kill them. After all, they were array sorcerers. But with Wang Xian's help, they were 100% confident. No, to annihilate the Diablo Precantator clan. Wang Xian shook his head and said, Diablo Precantator clan? It sounds like they are looking for death. But they should be of the dark attribute. No. If only they were of the water attribute. The Water Tentacle King mumbled. Wang Xian flew towards the Diablo Precantator clan quickly. The Diablo Precantator clan was located in the land of Devil Bones, not very close to the land of blood. Even he would need 10 days of flight. However, these 10 days were just enough for the Heavenly Formation to complete a breakthrough. The Diablo Precantator clan consisted of sorcerers from the land of Devil Bones. There were 2 types, skeleton sorcerers and human sorcerers. Most of them were human dark sorcerers, but according to the information on the universe artificial intelligence, the leader of the Diablo sorcerer clan was a skeleton sorcerer. However, Wang Xian did not care what they were. He had to annihilate them this time. After 10 days of flying, Wang Xian arrived at the front of the Diabolus clan. Like the Spirit Demon tribe, they also had a city here that was open to the public. There were a large number of skeletons and experts from other places in the city of Demon Bone. Upon entering the city, Wang Xian realized that this city was completely different from the Spirit Demon tribe's city. The Spirit Demon city was made up of skeletons. Over here there were castles. He raised his head and looked up into the sky. He saw skulls glowing with a blood-red luster flying in the sky as if they were patrolling. There were many of these skulls, and the area they covered was boundless. The strongest pinnacle universe supremacy, not even at the universe lord realm. Wang Xian looked at the skull patrolling in the sky and mumbled to himself. Unlai, bring the sky formation over. Tianjun's strength had already broken through, and it had been 5 days since then. Wang Xian sent a message to Tianjun. The demonic sorcerer clan was very strong. Now they had 2 third-order universe sovereigns, and their incomparably bizarre attacks. Wang Xian had to be fully prepared. With Tianjun and the Aqua Tentacle King, Wang Xian was very confident even if the other party had an inborn cardinal treasure. Greetings, Dragon King. Soon, the figure of Tianjun appeared and bowed respectfully to him. Get ready. We are going to attack a strong and powerful clan. Wang Xian instructed. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjun nodded and followed beside Wang Xian. Wang Xian moved and flew towards the interior of the Diabolus clan. Be careful, don't get discovered. As they passed through the Diabolus clan city, Wang Xian reminded Tianjun. He swept his gaze across the sky, but the dark skulls did not discover them. As they continued flying forward, Wang Xian realized that the residences of the disciples and experts of the Diabolus clan were very scattered. They would encounter a castle every few minutes, and each castle housed hundreds to thousands of disciples and experts of the Diabolus clan. The Diabolus clan is different from other clans. They mainly pass down their inheritance through master and disciple. Each castle represents a series of teachers of the Diabolus clan, and each castle possesses great strength. Wang Xian murmured as he recalled the information about the Diabolus clan. The entire Diabolus clan had a very small number of disciples and experts, only a few million. However, each of them was an elite and expert. They continued flying towards the center. According to some information, the clan leader of the Diabolus clan was located at the center. Although it was not a treasure land, it was said that there was a source of darkness there, which could aid the cultivation of experts with dark attributes. Wang Xian and the rest had been concealing themselves, and their speed of advancement was not very fast. However, they arrived at the center after a day. It was a lonely castle. From afar, it looked like a royal palace. It did not look magnificent, but it was full of simplicity and mystery. In addition, the ground was paved with bones, which added to the mystery and power. The clan leader of the Diabolus clan is an array sorcerer. His castle must be protected by an array formation. Tianjun, you stay at the back and fight with the array formation. Wang Xian instructed Tianjun. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjun nodded his head and stood there without moving. Wang Xian made a move and flew forward in an instant. His speed was terrifying. Now that he was here, he didn't need to hide himself anymore. The other party was a sorcerer with the combat strength of a third-order universe lord. Even if they concealed themselves, it was impossible to sneak into the other party's lair. They would definitely be discovered. Therefore, there was no need for him to conceal himself. At this moment, the clan leader of the Diabolus clan immediately sensed Wang Xian's presence in the castle. When he came within a certain range, he waved the skeletal staff in his hand, and everything outside appeared in front of him. It's him. How dare he barge into my Diabolus clan? Courting death. When he saw Wang Xian's figure, his face was filled with anger. The guy he cursed dared to kill his way into the Diabolus clan's territory. How dare he barge into his territory? Li, get ready to face the enemy. Kill this intruder and avenge Wu Gui. He let out a low roar and waved the skeletal staff in his hand. The entire castle immediately bloomed with terrifying energy. Above the castle, a dark sphere rose slowly. Chapter 35:18. The dark sphere hovered above the castle, radiating with a dark glow. At this moment, a drastic change took place in the sky. The skulls hovering in the air surged towards the dark sphere in a frenzy. At the same time, the dark energy attacked Wang Xian. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The horrifying energy and aura made Wang Xian narrow his eyes. Swoosh. He flapped his unbeginning sacred wings, and dodged the attacks of the dark energy easily. However, the energy seemed to have the ability to track him. They formed a circle and bombarded towards Wang Xian. Boom. More than a dozen dark spheres surrounded Wang Xian and exploded, charging towards Wang Xian, who was in the middle, attacking the lair of a spell formation sorcerer. How troublesome. Wang Xian shook his body and wrapped himself with layers of defense. The Aqua Tentacle King also released its defense. If Wang Xian was the only one defending against the attack, he would definitely be injured. This attack was equivalent to 3 Wang Xian attacking at the same time. Wang Xian's current advantage was his speed. In terms of defense, he was still on par with others of the same level. Even when facing a blanket attack, he was still helpless. However, he had the Aqua Tentacle King by his side, the existence that was once the true universe dominator. Both of their defenses formed around them, and withstood the attack of the spell formation with ease. How dare you come over? I'll bury you here today. Die. At this moment, Sorcerer Li, whose head was glowing in golden light, charged over and roared furiously. Golden radiance radiated from his eyes and shrouded Wang Xian. How dare you try to kill me with a curse? Today will be the end of your Diablo sorcerer tribe. Wang Xian snorted coldly. The dark ghost doppelganger appeared and attacked sorcererly. The doppelganger of a third-order universe lord was not at a disadvantage against a third-order universe lord. Lingling! Wang Xian roared. His companion's spirit, Lingling, appeared beside him. She flapped her tiny wings and held the water lotus staff. Banish! Lingling looked at the surrounding darkness and waved her staff to form a space. In this space, Wang Xian realized that he could move a little faster. TSK, a companion spirit. The water tentacle king couldn't help but look at Ling Ling. She flew to the side from Wang Xian's side and enlarged her body by about 10 meters. She waved her tentacles in the air. There was no aura of a giant star beast on her body, and no one would associate her with a giant star beast. Kill! Wang Xian made a move and attacked the castle directly. At this moment, a gigantic skull flew out from the dark sphere above the castle. This skull was formed from countless smaller skulls. It was over 10,000 meters wide, and it contained darkness and flames. How dare you invade my Diablo Precantator clan? Die! It roared and charged towards Wang Xian and the rest. Dragon King, leave the sky to me. The water tentacle king roared, and its tentacles lashed out at the huge skull. Star behemoths didn't have divine kingdoms. Their fleshly bodies were their strongest asset. They used their physical bodies as their divine kingdoms, and possessed strange innate abilities and great power. Roar! The skull roared and spat out black flames that shrouded the water tentacle king. Puny sorcerer, I'll kill you today! The water tentacle king roared and specks of water energy appeared on one of her tentacles. Her tentacles extended rapidly and drilled into the pupils of the skull. How big was the water tentacle king at her peak? It was no exaggeration to say that it was the size of a dozen stars. When her tentacles extended, they could reach hundreds of millions of kilometers. She was an invincible existence. Although she hadn't recovered from her serious injuries, she still possessed the realm and combat strength of a sovereign. The tentacles passed through the flames easily, and were protected by the specks of water energy. Boom! While the water tentacle king was fighting the skull, Wang Xian flapped his primordial sacred wings and arrived above the castle instantly. His dragon tail appeared behind him and swept across. Rumble! In an instant, more than half of the castle collapsed. Not good. 3 third-order universe sovereigns. That demonic beast is terrifying. At the same time, the leader of the Diablo Precantator tribe in the center of the castle was shocked when he saw Li being pinned down by the demonic beast and Wang Xian's attack. In the name of the Skeleton King, in the name of the Skeleton Father, I summon you, Skeleton Core, to destroy the enemy. The leader of the Diablo Precantator tribe looked terrible. He lifted his head and raised the skeleton staff in his hand. His body rose slowly and he chanted loudly. Swoosh! As he chanted and the energy in his body shrouded the area below, the entire world seemed to have awakened and undergone earth-shattering changes. Below him, slumbering skeletons emerged one after another. There was no end to them. The skeleton tribe was most proficient in army tactics. Zerg tribe tactics. Different from the angel core, their numbers were much larger. Within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers, there were skeletons everywhere. They emerged from the skeletons below, and their palms were emitting a strange black luster. Ha! Wang Xian looked down and narrowed his eyes when he saw the skeletons below. Real skeletons. If an ant wanted to bite an elephant to death, it had to break through the elephant's defense first. The weak wanted to fight the strong, and so did the strong. However, the true skeleton clan possessed a special ability called armor break. Their bodies could easily penetrate powerful defenses. Because they were skeletons, they had the ability to corrode and sharpen. The sea of skeletons from the skeleton tribe was extremely difficult to deal with. When their numbers reached a certain level, they could even kill those stronger than them. Wang Xian did not expect the leader of the Diablo Precantator tribe to have a sea of skeletons. No wonder there were no other castles around his castle. No wonder this place looked so empty. It turned out that there was a skeleton core below. 9 dragons great array destroy. However, just as the group of skeletons appeared, the heavenly array had already been set up. He swept a glance at the surrounding skeletons, and the array descended. Above the Diablo Precantator tribe, 9 divine dragons descended and swept towards the sea of skeletons. Each divine dragon had a body that spanned millions of kilometers and exuded terrifying dragon might. As the dragon's tail swept across, countless skeletons were annihilated. Chapter 35:19. Boom boom boom. Walala. The moment the sea of skeletons appeared, it suffered a devastating blow. The Sea of Skeletons was definitely a powerful trump card of the Diablo Precantator Patriarch. However, no matter how powerful a trump card was, could it fight against 2 or 3 third-order universe sovereigns? No way. His Sea of Skeletons could at most fight against 1 third-order universe sovereign. However, the Sea of Skeletons was in trouble against the Heavenly Array. Coincidentally, the Sea of Skeletons appeared. Coincidentally, the Heavenly Array was completed. 9 divine dragons wreaked havoc, killing countless skeletons. How is this possible? You actually have an expert, an array sorcerer. The Patriarch of the Diablo Precantator Patriarch was stunned when he saw the terrifying attack and roared in fear. There was an array sorcerer, and from the looks of it, the sorcerer was no weaker than him. Facing such a powerful enemy, his body trembled. Each of these enemies was more heaven-defying than the other. He was in his lair with all kinds of arrays and treasures. In addition to Li's existence, he was confident that he could withstand 4 or 5 third-order universe sovereigns. However, the other party only had 4 people, and they were completely suppressed. I'm not their match. The Patriarch of the Diablo Precantator Patriarch roared with an ugly expression. With a wave of his hand, a skull horn appeared in his hand. A wave of energy was injected into the horn. Woo woo woo. A deep and distant sound resounded in the Diablo Precantator clan's territory. All the experts and disciples in the Diablo Precantator clan heard it clearly. Someone is invading our Diablo Precantator clan. The horn came from the Patriarch. Enemies have infiltrated the Patriarch's territory. All disciples charge. At this moment, the experts of the Diablo Precantator clan soared into the sky and flew towards the Patriarch's castle. Although the other party is stronger, with all the experts and disciples of my Diablo Precantator clan together, we can still resist them. The Diablo Precantator clan Patriarch thought to himself with an ugly expression. He didn't believe that all the experts and disciples of the Diablo Precantator clan could not resist the other party. As for whether the Diablo Precantator clan would suffer heavy losses, this was no longer something he could consider. The Diablo Precantator clan's Patriarch's divine kingdom was here, so he could not escape. Moreover, he would not be able to escape. The other party had a sorcerer, who could use a spell formation to track him. Crash! Just as he was deep in thought, a figure suddenly broke through his castle and attacked him. Damn it, this speed is too fast. When the Patriarch of the Diablo Precantator clan saw this, his expression changed drastically. He waved the staff in his hand, and it turned into a death scythe that shrouded the surroundings. Attacking indiscriminately was to deal with this terrifying speed. Lingling defend. He let out a low roar and released his defensive power. Immediately, Lingling released pieces of leaves and attached them to Wang Xian. Wang Xian ignored the other party's attack and charged towards the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan. He could sense that the Patriarch of the Diablo Precantator clan was not very strong in terms of physical body. Not good. What the hell is that thing beside him? Seeing that Wang Xian was still charging towards him, the leader of the Diabolical Sorcerer clan had a drastic change in his expression as he stared fixedly at Lingling. Companion spirit? What kind of enemy did they provoke? Their trump cards were so many that it made one's hair stand on end. Source of curses, devil's corpse. He let out a low growl and roared loudly. From below, the dark corpse floated up slowly. Without any hesitation, the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan dived into the devil's corpse. Gradually, the face of the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan appeared on the devil's corpse. What's this? It actually strengthened the physical body of the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan. Wang Xian stared at it. Suddenly, he felt a dreadful power from the dark corpse. However, the The integration of the body of the Diablo Precantator clan with it only strengthened the physical body a little. The other changes were not that significant. He raised his guard and his figure flickered. Hula! With a flap of the unbeginning saint wings, he instantly appeared beside the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan and clawed at it. Hula! The dragon claw landed on it and immediately made a huge cut. Boundless darkness, ghost seal. The leader of the Diablo Precantator clan had a drastic change of expression as his body flew to the side. He steadied himself and his scythe turned into a staff. A ghost seal struck at Wang Xian. Hula! Wang Xian's figure flickered again and appeared on the other side of the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan. Towering dragon horn. He let out a low growl and a dragon horn struck at him. Bam! The dragon horn struck him once again, causing him to spurt out blood and his body to crack open gradually. He hurriedly unleashed waves of energy to envelop his surroundings. He dived into the dark corpse and only his defensive strength increased a little. Other than that, there aren't any other changes? Wang Xian was a little puzzled and kept his guard up. I'd like to see what trump cards you have up your sleeves. Flapping the unbeginning saint wings, Wang Xian pushed his speed to the limit and bombarded the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan with continuous attacks. Faced with Wang Xian's speed, the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan could not resist at all. All he could do was protect his body with all his energy and resist continuously. However, under the intensive attacks, the defense on his body began to crack bit by bit. Fresh blood continued to flow out of his body. His aura was getting weaker and weaker. At this moment, the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan felt a little hopeless. He had integrated the inborn cardinal treasure, the source of curses, into his body. The only effect was to increase his defensive strength a little. There was no other use for it. This was not how the devil's corpse should be used. His opponent's speed and strength made him feel hopeless. Now he couldn't even escape from his opponent's speed. It's over, it's all over. Dragon breath of life. Wang Xian continuously attacked the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan. When he sensed the weakening aura, he released his strongest attack. No. The leader of the Diablo Precantator clan felt the horrifying attack and roared in despair. The dragon breath of life hit him, and his body collapsed immediately. Wang Xian had a doubtful look in his eyes. Did he die so easily? However, at this time, he saw the corpse of the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan coming out from the collapsed dark corpse. The wounds on the dark corpse were slowly healing. However, the leader of the Diablo Precantator clan was indeed dead. This scene made Wang Xian a little surprised again. His gaze fell on the dark corpse and his eyes flickered. His body condensed into an illusory figure and walked over to investigate. This is a treasure? An inborn cardinal treasure. Soon he gained some confidence from the dark corpse and his eyes were burning with passion. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.